In this segment, we're going to cover grip and guide hand placement. And you know this is where the snap starts, with your hands, okay? So it's a crucial aspect of getting lined up and the whole snap sequence, really. And we're going to start off just real basically with the dominant hand. And what you're going to see right there, Jacob's going to grasp the ball just like a quarterback would to throw it. He's got his fingers spread out on the back side of the ball, his thumb's in a horizontal position on the football and comes straight across. It's kind of like almost a continuation of the stripe if we had a high school ball, okay? So it's just going to come right across the ball like that, all right? And that's real easily done. You just spread it out. And what that does for you, it keeps your palm off the ball. When your palm's off the football, you'll see a little cup there, a little dark spot right there at his wrist almost. And what that does for you, that poises the fingers to produce a whole lot of leverage, okay? Now, he's going to show you his thumb again. This time he's going to put it in a lazy position. And all that means is he doesn't really have a good grip. With this grip, his palm gets in contact with the ball and he loses all finger leverage. So there's no burst or explosion out of his hand. All right, he's just cupping the ball and kind of cradling it like a baby. You see right there, he lost it, and I'm glad that happened to kind of demonstrate that you don't have a grip, you just cradle the ball. When that happens, all the power you generate goes into a real tight, fast spiral, but the ball doesn't move back toward your target, your holder or your punter, very quickly, okay? All your power is rotating the ball. So by spreading the thumb back out into that horizontal position, that's where you want it to be. Your palm is off the ball. Now the next thing we'll cover is your guide hand placement. That's kind of the X factor. That's going to be different for everybody. There's some benchmark stuff on that. We'll talk about just baseline, whatever you want to call it, just ground rules. And we're going to talk about that. But in terms of that position, be real leery if you're coached to do it one way and it's in a box and it's packaged that way, because all of us are different and things will be more comfortable for some people than they are for others. So just understand you've got a lot of possibilities on that guide hand placement. All right, I'm going to have Jacob turn his back to the camera and he's going to hold the ball up so you can see these guide hands. The first one is going to be a ring and middle finger split. And when I say split, everything runs with the vertical seam of the ball, okay? So you're never pulling across the ball, you pull straight down through the ball. So right there you can see the seam comes right down between his ring and middle finger. All right, that's a possibility. The next one will be a middle finger seam, and just like it's called, your middle finger's right on the seam of the football. And there's nothing wrong with that. The next one, you can go a middle and index finger split, and you'll see that the seam comes right down between those two fingers. All right, the next one would be an index finger seam, and he's got it right there on the seam, pulling straight down through the ball. And lastly, the C- grip, and that's with your index and middle fingers together, and they're kind of up. You see that left hand, the guide hand kind of forms a letter C, and that horizontal thumb of his dominant hand is the minus sign. Okay, so that's your C- grip. All those are okay. Now what I'm going to do, Jacob's going to roll back through all those grips again, and what I want you to notice, his thumbs will be parallel to each other no matter what the grip is. Okay, go ahead and keep moving. His thumbs are always parallel. Now the reason that's important is because if your thumbs get out of whack and they're not parallel to each other, you're going to have some problems with rotation on the ball. You'll have a slight ducktail, I call them, and they'll wobble a little bit going back. All right, so not only is it a thing where you're going to lose finger leverage, the thumbs are extra important because they control a lot of your rotation and spiral on the ball. Tight spiral is a lot easier to catch, and that's why that's real important. Plus, on a windy day, a duck could kind of flutter on you, pardon the pun, but it could get off track on its way back to your punter. So you want to make sure your spirals are really tight and your thumbs dictate a lot of that.